All right, welcome back to how to write a literary analysis essay using Cebulski's graphic organizers. If you're following along at home, we looked at this one and then we filled out our thesis worksheet. We got our nice thesis there at the end. And now we are going to do the body paragraph essay organizers. So the first thing I'm going to do is number these friends here. We've got body paragraph number 1, body paragraph number 2, and you guessed it, body paragraph number 3. So I decided that I'm going to organize my body paragraphs chronologically. So basically like the unifying idea, like just kind of like what it's about for this body paragraph is just going to be like the beginning of the story, right? Okay, so beginning, and then my second body paragraph is going to be about like the middle of the story. And then my third body paragraph is going to be about like the end of the story. I could also have chosen to organize my body paragraphs by like character maybe, but I'm just going to go chronological. I'm just going to go beginning, middle, end. So step 1 says rewrite your thesis from step 4 of your thesis worksheet. So I'm literally going to copy down exactly what I wrote at the bottom of my thesis worksheet. That's just like a little helpful thing for myself so that I remember while I'm looking for my evidence to make sure that all of my evidence like supports my overall thesis. Because again, remember your thesis is like this big overall umbrella that covers your essay as a whole. That's like the big thing that I'm trying to prove with my whole essay. So as I look for my evidence, I need to make sure that it all connects back to my overarching thesis in some way. Keep in mind that what I'm going to write down here is not my topic sentence. My topic sentence will end up being the first sentence of each body paragraph, but I'm literally just going to copy down my thesis again so that I have it in front of me to help myself remember like what I'm trying to prove in this essay as a whole. So the short story Girl by Jamaica Kincaid uses one long, complex sentence written in dual perspectives to explore gender roles. Ultimately, the story reveals that it is because of their own fear remembered from childhood that mothers perpetuate restrictive gender roles by passing them down to their daughters. Okay, boom. So I've copied down my thesis again, just so I like have it in front of me. So I keep in mind what I'm trying to prove with this essay as a whole. And now I'm going to find 2 or more pieces of evidence from the text that support, by which I mean back up, my thesis in some way. And again, here I'm looking for evidence from the beginning of the text. So I'm gonna look at my text here. If I had an evidence chart, I could pull some evidence from that, right? But again, right now I don't have an evidence chart, so I'm just gonna pull stuff from the text like directly. I think that I'm going to go with this part right here where it says Don't walk barefoot in the hot sun. And then I'm going to use, is it true that you sing Benna in Sunday school? Okay, so those are the two pieces of evidence that I want to use. So I'm going to copy them down here, literally just copy them down from the text. It starts with a lowercase d because it's just part of the sentence. So I'm just going to leave that lowercase d there, right? Don't walk barehead in the hot sun. Okay, this isn't a play, so it doesn't have scenes, but if I were writing about Antigone, it would have a scene, right? But it does have a page number. It says page 320. This is just so I like remember it later. This is from page 320. It's line 3. When I cite it, when I like type it up in my essay and cite it, it's going to end up looking like this right here. I'm going to draw a little arrow so you can see. Don't walk barehead in the hot sun, open parentheses, author's last name, space, page number, close parentheses, period. So that's what my citation is going to end up looking like. This is just so I like remember where it is. So that's my first piece of evidence. And then my second piece of evidence here says, is it true that you sing Benna in Sunday school? That is also from page 320, and that's lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 8. Okay, so that's lines 7 to 8. Okay, so I have my first two pieces of evidence. That's for my first body paragraph. The back of the page here is kind of like where you can do a little bit extra to make life easier for yourself later, but I'm going to skip the back of the page for right now, and I'm just going to move on to finding my evidence for my second body paragraph. So now I'm going to go back to my text. Well, okay, it tells me to rewrite my thesis from step 4 of my thesis worksheet again, just to like, again, make my life a little bit easier for myself. So let me find where I have that written down so I can copy it again. The short story Girl by Jamaica Kincaid. Oh no, my lid. Kincaid uses one long, complex sentence written in dual perspectives to explore gender roles, semicolon, ultimately, comma, the story reveals that it is because of their own fear remembered from childhood that mothers perpetuate restrictive gender roles by passing them down to their daughters. Okay. Whew, I copied down the thesis again. To be honest, I'm going to copy it down one more time for the last body paragraph, just so I don't have to do that later on. but you know, skip ahead 30 seconds if you're watching this video, so you don't have to watch me write it again. But I'm gonna copy it down one more time. The short story Girl by Jamaica Kincaid uses one long, complex sentence to, oh, I forgot that I have another part there. Written in dual perspectives to explore gender roles. Ultimately, the story reveals that it is because of their own fear remembered from childhood that mothers perpetuate restrictive gender roles by passing them down to their daughters. Okay, cool, great. Copied it down all 3 times. Now I'm going to go back to this middle body paragraph here, this second body paragraph, and look for my 2 pieces of evidence that I want to talk about in the middle here. I think that I'm going to use this part here that says, but I don't sing Benna on Sundays at all and never in Sunday school. And the line right after it, to be honest, I think I want to also use this line. This is how to sew on a button. This is how to make a buttonhole for the button you have just sewed on. Okay, so I'm going to copy down my evidence here so I have it in front of me. Okay, this one says, but I don't sing Benna on Sundays at all and never in Sunday school. And it's italicized in the text. Look at that. That line, that particular piece of evidence is italicized. So I'm going to underline it to show that it's italicized and that when I type it up, I will italicize it. And that also comes from page 320. It's lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to 13. And then my second piece of evidence is this is how to sew on a button. This is how to make a, buttonhole for the button you have just sewed on. That's also from page 320, and that is lines 13 to 15. Okay, so I have my evidence for my second piece of paragraph, for my second body paragraph. Again, I'm going to skip the back side of this paper here, and I'm going to move on to finding my last 2 pieces of evidence for my third body paragraph. So I'm going to look kind of at like towards the end of the text. Let me see, what do I want to do here? I think that I want to I'm going to, my first piece of evidence for this body paragraph, I'm going to go with, this is how to bully a man. This is how a man bullies you. This is how to love a man. And if this doesn't work, there are other ways. And if they don't work, don't feel too bad about giving up. And then I'm also going to, for my second piece of evidence, I'm going to use, but what if the baker won't let me feel the bread? You mean to say that after all, you are really going to be the kind of woman who the baker won't let near the bread. So those are going to be my two pieces of evidence for this last body paragraph here. Okay, I'm going to copy them down. Let me find my pencil. Here it went. Okay. This is how to bully a man. This is how a man bullies you. This is how to love a man. And if this doesn't work, there are other ways. And if they don't work, don't feel too bad about giving up. And that comes from page 321, lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to 17. All right, and my second piece of evidence here, but what if the baker won't let me feel the bread? And again, that part is italicized, so I'm going to underline it. You mean to say that after all, you are really going to be the kind of woman who the baker won't let near the bread. And that, again, is also from page 321, and that's lines 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 to 22. Okay, boom. So I have all 6 pieces of evidence. I could stop there and call it a day, but let me show you how to do the back half of one of these so that you can see like what you would do with it, right? Okay, so let's go back to our first body paragraph here, the one from the beginning. We've got our 2 pieces of evidence: don't walk barehead in the hot sun, and is it true that you sing Bennett in Sunday school? So, all right, we're looking at step 3. Okay, this is body paragraph 1. We are looking at step 3, which says, explain what literary, dramatic, poetic, or filmic device or devices is or are present in your evidence. Okay, so let me think about that for a moment. I think that in this particular case, I think I want to talk about like the syntax of it. And specifically, I want to talk about the fact that my first piece of evidence, the one that says don't walk barehead in the hot sun, that's like a command, right? So it is what is called an imperative sentence. It's an imperative sentence, which is part of syntax. And I'm just going to jot down a little note here about like how or why it's an example of that device. Here, the narrator the mother is directly telling her daughter what to do, or in this case, not to do. She is issuing a command, a direct order. So that's just my little note to myself. My second piece of evidence is the one that says, is it true that you sing Benna in Sunday school? And that is, I also want to talk about syntax here, and it's a different kind of sentence. This is called like an interrogative sentence, which just means a question, basically. The mother is asking her daughter a question, aka interrogating her. Okay, cool. So I know what device it is. Step 4, explain what your evidence proves or reveals in relation to the abstract concept you think the author, poet, playwright, screenwriter, or director is exploring. I think my first piece of evidence proves or reveals that, like, in this whole story, the mother is like really, really focused on giving her daughter instructions, like telling her what to do and not to do in order to be seen as like this like good woman, right? Okay. Around the whole story, the mother is really concerned with telling her daughter what to do and not to do. These are just notes for myself, so it's okay. Like, mine are a little sloppy and not super academic right now. That's okay, because this is for you. This is like so you remember. Because she wants to teach her daughter how to conform with gender norms and expectations in order to be seen as a good woman. Okay, my second piece of evidence, again, that's the one that's like, is it true that you sing Benna in Sunday school? Okay, reveals that, it reveals that the mother is worried by things she has heard about her daughter's behavior. Because she is worried that her daughter might not be living up to their society's rigid expectations for girls and women, and she worries that her daughter will face like social punishment and be outcast as a result. Okay, boom. So I finished the front and back. I like know what devices these pieces of evidence are. I like know what they say. And then I could repeat that for my next two body paragraphs. Like, you know, my evidence for my second body paragraph and my evidence for my third. I'm going to do that off camera to spare you all the time of having to watch an even longer video. But yeah, that is how you fill out the body paragraph evidence worksheets. Yay.